Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. May Elise Cannon. Today is Monday, the 16th of June, 2025. Today is day 619 since October 7th of 2023. I thought I would start with an update on the Israel-Iran conflict. Today is the fourth day of the fiercest clashes between Iran and Israel in decades. A spokesperson for the Israeli military on Saturday said that Israel has full aerial operational control over western Iran and that the capital city of Tehran is included in that operational control, and that Israel has destroyed 1/3 of Iran's surface-to-surface missile launchers. That's not stymied Iran in terms of their counterattacks of missiles against Israel, which are continuing even now into the afternoon East Coast time on Monday. Earlier this weekend, Israel said it killed the intelligence chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps along with its deputy. Israel on Saturday widened its military campaign against Iran by targeting Iran's gas and petrochemical refineries, according to statements from Iran's oil ministry. Videos verified by the New York Times showed a large fire burning at the South Pars gas refinery, one of the world's largest gas fields. Israeli strikes also targeted Iran's foreign ministry building, according to authorities. U.S. President Donald Trump over the weekend told Israel that he was against Israel killing Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei when opportunity for Israel arose for it to do so. This was according to two U.S. officials. But an Israeli national security advisor denied that Trump had blocked the strike and called the report fake news. Iran's health ministry reported that Israeli attacks have killed at least 224 people since Friday morning, and Netanyahu's office said that the total number of people killed in Israel in that same period was at 24. The defense minister in Israel, Katz, said that Tehran's residents would soon pay the price for Iran's strikes on Tel Aviv and Haifa that killed at least 8 people today, later clarifying there's no intention to physically harm the residents of Tehran. Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis yesterday said that they had targeted Israel's Jaffa with ballistic missiles in coordination with Iran in the last 24 hours. And Netanyahu yesterday said that a regime change in Iran could be the result of Israel's military attacks, and that Israel would do whatever is necessary to remove the existential threat that's been posed by Tehran. Israel late last week asked the Trump administration to join in on its conflict with Iran. The U.S. government so far has been largely distancing itself from Israel's operations. The U.S. military has helped Israel intercept Iranian missiles, which was confirmed on Friday. Netanyahu yesterday said that he and Trump are fully coordinated. President Trump on Saturday called for Israel and Iran to make a deal, stating that we will have peace soon and that many calls and meetings are now taking place. Trump also said that he was open to Vladimir Putin serving as a mediator in the conflict and that he believes Israel's attacks likely have improved the chances that Iran would move forward with a nuclear deal. In the latest round of U.S.-Iran nuclear talks, which were scheduled to take place yesterday, they were canceled, according to the Omani foreign minister, Albu Saidi, and a senior Trump administration official confirmed. According to a source, Iran yesterday told mediators Qatar and Oman that it's not open to negotiating a nuclear deal with the United States while it is under attack by Israel. Putin on Saturday told Trump that he condemns Israel's attacks on Iran and is concerned that the conflict could escalate in unpredictable ways. That was according to a Kremlin foreign policy aide. The State Department on Friday reactivated a Farsi language news broadcast for Voice of America, recalling dozens of workers from administrative leave effective immediately, according to staff members in an email that was seen by the New York Times. The U.S. Northern Command on Saturday announced that the U.S. military had stepped up security at all of the military installations of the U.S. based on world events. Today, around midday East Coast time, Israel attacked Iran's national broadcast while they were live on the air. Iranian Broadcasting Center was targeted because it was used for military purposes, the IDF said, targeting the headquarters of the Broadcasting Authority because it was used by armed forces to promote military operations under civilian cover. Those were the words of the IDF. According to Israeli sources and the finance minister Smotrich in Israel, 2,775 Israelis have been displaced by the Iran war, and 24 buildings are now slated for demolition. The U.S. State Department has issued travel advisories, raising the level to level 4 for Israel and the West Bank and Gaza, which is the do not travel level. 2 hours before this recording, around noon East Coast time on Monday, Iran said that they were preparing for the largest and most intense missile attack in history on Israeli soil. And in the Israeli Knesset, citing the Iran war, opposition lawmakers backed Netanyahu in order to block a no confidence vote that went forward. And Iran has asked Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Oman to ask President Trump to press Israel for an immediate ceasefire. Offering concessions in U.S. talks, Iran requested this on Monday in pursuit of an immediate ceasefire, 2 Iranian and 3 regional sources told Reuters. In Israel, emergency services recovered 21 bodies of people that were killed by Iranian missile strikes. This was since the beginning of the Israel-Iran war on Friday. 631 people have been wounded in Israel, 13 being severely wounded, 37 with moderate wounds. 8 people killed in Iranian strikes just since Monday morning in Israel, 92 people hospitalized today. In Iran, 45 women and children killed in the last few hours and 75 people wounded today on Monday. In Gaza, the death toll today was 38 Palestinians killed in shootings in areas around the Israeli and U.S. supported food distribution centers, again in South Gaza. That's according to the health ministry. The Wall Street Journal reported today that after sitting out on the Iran attacks, that the U.S. has stepped in to help Israel intercept the missiles, operating in the air, on the land, and at sea to shoot down Iranian missiles fired at Israel in response to attacks on Iran's nuclear programs and military leadership. So Washington has become increasingly involved in the widening conflict. Iran's fired about 200 ballistic missiles in 4 different barrages before the most recent ones today, more than 200 drones towards Israeli territory thus far, and multiple waves of strikes. Also reporting today, the Wall Street Journal said that Iran was seeking to return to nuclear negotiations, not directly with Israel, but with the United States, hinting that Iran would be willing to make virtually any nuclear program concessions in order to forestall U.S. attacks on Iran. We also know that Iran has carefully avoided attacks on U.S. forces, even though U.S. forces are actively shooting down Iranian drones and missiles. Leaders of the Group of 7 nations are set to meet today to begin their annual talks, expecting to focus specifically on Iran-Israel conflict and the wars in the Ukraine and Gaza, according to Reuters. And Netanyahu's popularity is increasing. Standing on the polls jumped on Friday to Monday, and today's polls showed an even bigger gain. Part of that is Israeli opposition parties rallying around the Israeli flag, saying that the Iran war is a good thing. Part of it is the general population rallying around Israel as Iranian missiles are flying. And part of it is the side effect of a missile, is the ban on public gatherings, including rallies calling for a Gaza ceasefire, calling for the release of hostages under normal Israeli civil defense rules. Israel's stock market is up today by more than 5%. In terms of Gaza, at least 41 Palestinians across Gaza yesterday were killed, 8 people near aid distribution points, and a France and Saudi-backed UN conference, the one that was supposed to be in New York this week, the 17th through the 19th, has been postponed because of the Israel-Iran escalations. French President Macron announced that on Friday, adding that the postponement would be brief and a new date would be set in coming days. Palestinians living in Gaza say that they're concerned that the Israel-Iran conflict will shift attention away from and slow down the response to the urgent humanitarian crisis in the Gaza territory. In Syria, a former senior Syrian security official and member of former President Bashar al-Assad's inner circle, Bassam al-Hassan, told the FBI that Assad in 2013 ordered the killing of Austin Tice, a freelance journalist who was kidnapped in Syria. According to U.S. officials, the government is investigating these claims, which mark the first time a senior Assad regime official has spoken to U.S. official about Tice's fate. U.S. senators have moved to limit Trump's war powers on Iran as the Middle East conflict has escalated. A Democratic senator introduced legislation today to prevent Donald Trump from using military force against Iran without the authorization of Congress. This is, of course, in the escalating battle between Israel and Iran. Tim Kaine of Virginia has tried for years to wrest back Congress's authority to declare war from the White House. And so that legislation has been proposed. Masses of protesters participated in No Kings demonstrations across the U.S. on Saturday. Organizers of the event said that millions of people showed up to protest in more than 2,000 cities across the country and in other parts of the world. And the Trump administration can continue the immigration detention of pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil over allegations of immigration violations, a federal judge ruled on Friday. A judge had previously found that Khalil's arrest and initial detention were unlawful. Churches for Middle East Peace has been in conversation in the last few days, even today, with people from different parts of the occupied Palestinian territories and Israel. We've heard that sirens have been going off, particularly overnight, and we're reminded that Palestinians, Arab citizens of Israel, but Palestinians, particularly in the OPT, do not have any shelter or protection for missiles that are coming from Iran. And so even now, it's being recorded that there's another barrage of rocket fire from Iran being aimed at Israel, and Palestine happens to be right there as well. Ultimately, for civilians who suffer the most, it doesn't really matter where the rockets are coming from when they suffer the consequences of their falling. So we're calling for certainly accountability and the application of international law, but our primary prayer and effort is that all violence would be brought to an end. Might God go before us, and might we continue in our efforts in the name of Christ. Amen.